Tonight, we return to an old stone hall, where the fire is low and the world has grown quiet. There, behind the folds of a forgotten tapestry, a secret waits, not loud, not frightening, but gentle, like the rustle of parchment or the memory of something once cherished. Let me guide you back through shadows and candlelight to a place stitched into silence. Come closer now and rest. You find yourself standing at the edge of the great hall, where candlelight shivers along the old stone walls and centuries seem to breathe through the timbers. The hush here is not silence, it's memory, the kind of stillness that gathers in corners like dust, not lifeless, but listening. A forgotten hush stitched into the very grain of the wooden floor beneath your feet. The hall stretches wide and solemn, the weight of nobility pressed into every inch. Above you, beams curve like the ribs of a great wooden beast, worn smooth by age and time's slow erosion. The scent of beeswax and hearth smoke lingers, old and warm, mixed with the faint must of velvet that hasn't stirred in decades. Every surface holds a story, but your gaze drifts inevitably to the tapestry. It hangs on the far wall, tall as a giant and thick with embroidery that's long since dulled. Once, it must have been a marvel, reds like garnets, golds like firelight, but now the threads have faded into a softened palette of rust and fog. You can almost see the outlines of a hunt, stags bounding through a forest, dogs mid-leap, and a noble rider whose face has vanished into time. You've passed this tapestry before, haven't you? Many times. As a child, perhaps, sneaking into the hall when no one was watching, drawn by something you couldn't name. You'd stand before it and wonder at the heaviness of the cloth, the way it never seemed to move, even when the wind whispered through the stone slits of the tower. You didn't know why, but it always made your heart beat just a little slower, like something inside you was pausing to listen. Tonight, though, something's different. The light from the hearth flickers just right, and you notice there, near the bottom edgy corner, slightly curled, barely perceptible, unless you were looking with the soft focus of someone remembering rather than seeking. You step forward, slowly, quietly. The velvet brushes your fingertips. It is thicker than you imagined, cold at first, but not unpleasant. The kind of chill that holds hands with shadow. You draw the edge back, and behind it, dust swirls in lazy spirals. The stone wall is not solid. There's a seam, a space, a line traced long ago by hands like yours. And there, your breath catches it, is not a wall at all, but a door. It doesn't creak when you press your palm against it. It sighs, as though it's been waiting patiently for you to remember. The room behind the tapestry isn't large, nor is it grand. But as you step into it, you realize it holds the kind of quiet that only hidden things can know. The air is thick with the scent of old parchment and dried lavender. Dust motes drift like fireflies in a beam of moonlight, slipping through a narrow, stained glass window you hadn't seen from outside. It paints the stone floor with fractured colors, soft purples, smoky blues, faded amber. Your footsteps don't echo. The floor here is wood, old and mellow with age. There's a desk against one wall, small and low, carved with delicate patterns of ivy and foxglove. A chair that looks like it was made for stillness more than sitting. And on the desk, scattered pages, some blank, some filled with a looping hand you can't quite read. There's a cup, too, ceramic, chipped at the rim, empty now, but it still holds the faint memory of chamomile and honey, the ghost of a warm drink left unfinished. You run your fingers along the edges of the parchment. The ink is faded to the color of dried rose petals. You don't read the words not yet. There's something sacred about them, something that tells you they were never meant for many eyes. On the far side of the room, there's a low shelf, books with leather covers softened to velvet, a few pressed flowers, brittle but still fragrant if you press your nose close enough, a locket, long untangled from any chain, a small wooden box with a clasp shaped like a sleeping cat. This place, it's not just secret, it's personal, a room for remembering, for escaping, for hiding in plain sight. You imagine someone slipping away from a banquet or a council meeting, fingers twitching for quiet, for ink, for solitude. You can almost feel them here, still, the way their breath might have sounded in the hush, the way their eyes would have lingered on that one line in a letter, rewriting it over and over. You sit for a moment on the chair, careful not to disturb the pages. The wood groans gently beneath your weight, but it does not protest. Time, in this room, moves differently. You feel it pooling around your ankles like warm water. You do not know how long you sit there, maybe minutes, maybe years. The moon shifts behind its stained glass veil. The wind sings faintly in the stones. Nothing demands anything of you. And for the first time in a long while, you let yourself remember without fear. You let yourself feel without rush. It is not loud, it is not dramatic, it is just ... peaceful. You do not read the letters, or pocket the locket, or open the box with the sleeping cat. You only press the door gently shut behind you, let the tapestry fall back into place, and smooth its corner so it no longer curls. You walk away, your heart quiet, your mind softer than when you arrived. The room will still be there, waiting, just as it always has. You remember the sound before the image, a hush of fabric brushing against stone, gentle as wind, stirring through tall grass. It's not the kind of noise most would notice, but in a place like this, where echoes live longer than voices you do, the memory of it floats into you unbidden, carried on the same air that holds the scent of old perfume, something powdery and floral, like lilacs drying in the sun. She used to come at dusk, didn't she? You can't be sure how many evenings you saw her, or if she ever truly passed your way at all. But the feeling of her presence lingers, like the warmth in a chair recently vacated. She was always wrapped in a willow silk scarf, soft and fine as breath, dyed the dusky green of a forest canopy at twilight. It clung to her shoulders and shifted like water when she moved. No one ever said her name, not aloud. Perhaps that was the rule. Perhaps she had none. She would pass beneath the high archway, her steps muffled by the thick rugs that lined the floor. Her figure always half-shadowed, part of her vanishing into the folds of the hall itself. Some evenings she carried books, other nights a small bouquet of wild herbs bound with a fraying ribbon. Once, you remember her pausing near the hearth, turning her face toward the fire, as if offering it her thoughts. You watched, still and hidden, your breath tight in your chest, heart fluttering like a caught bird. She never turned to look at you, but somehow you knew she knew. They said she belonged to no one. She was not lady nor servant, not guest nor ghost. And yet she moved as if she had always lived, here as if the castle had been built around her, rather than the other way around. There was one evening yet stands brighter in your mind than the rest when you followed the trace of her steps to the tapestry, the same one that hides the hidden room. But she did not pull it aside. Instead, She paused before it, fingertips hovering just shy of the fabric, as though feeling something that pulsed beneath. Her scarf shifted in the breeze that seeped through the stones, and the golden fringe at its edge shimmered like starlight. You stayed in the shadows then, too timid to move closer, too entranced to turn away. She began to hum, a tune made of notes that didn't quite belong to this world. You felt it in your bones rather than your ears, low and circular, a song with no beginning or end. It wrapped around you, made the air softer somehow, like it had thickened with memory. Then she whispered just one word, a name, perhaps, or a plea. You couldn't catch it. It dissolved as it reached you, like mist, but it stayed in your heart, a sound without shape, echoing endlessly. When she turned and walked away, you saw something fall from her scarf, a thread, maybe, or a strand of hair. You crept forward after she vanished, and found a ribbon, instead pale green, delicate, almost translucent in the firelight. It smelled faintly of crushed leaves and something else, something like longing. You tucked it into your pocket. You don't remember what became of it. Years passed, or maybe only hours, and the woman with the willow silk scarf was spoken of less and less. Fewer footsteps sounded in the noble's hall at twilight. The hearth burned lower. The great windows dimmed. The castle grew quieter, in the way places do when they're mourning without knowing why. But the tapestry remained, and so did you. You return sometimes now, in dreams or in memories you don't know how to place. You press your hand to the spot where she once stood, and the stone still holds a hint of warmth, not heat, but presence, the kind of warmth left behind by someone whose thoughts are still lingering in the space between light and silence. You wonder where she went, whether she ever truly lived at all. But part of you knows somehow, deeply and without question, that she never left. Perhaps she's folded into the fabric of the place, part of the threads of the tapestry itself. Or perhaps she waits in the hidden room, curled beside a candle and an open page, humming that same shapeless tune. Tonight, as the wind moves through the cracks in the old stone walls and the last candle gutters low, you think you hear the brush of silk once more. You turn your head just slightly, and the air stirs beside you. You smell lilacs again, faint and impossible. And then a whisper, not words, just memory. You step softly into the chamber beyond the tapestry, where the air carries a delicate warmth that seems to hum quietly with memories long held in shadow. The walls here are draped with faded tapestries, their colors muted but still alive beneath your gaze, telling stories in silken threads worn thin by the passing of countless days and nights. The scent of melted beeswax and aged oak lingers in the air, mingling with a faint trace of lavender and something deeper, something earthy and close, like the breath of the earth itself. The floor beneath your feet is cool and uneven, stone worn smooth by time and the slow, careful footsteps of those who once moved through this hidden sanctuary. As your eyes adjust to the soft glow, you notice candles scattered around the room, their flames flickering gently, like quiet heartbeats in the dimness. Some stand tall in wrought iron holders, others rest in delicate porcelain dishes, each flame casting shadows that dance softly upon the walls and ceiling, weaving a tapestry of light and dark that seems to breathe with the rhythm of the room. The flames are small and steady, as though tended by unseen hands, their warmth a tender invitation to linger, to listen, to remember. You inhale deeply, the scent of burning wax mingling with the whisper of herbs once hung to dry near the hearth. and you feel the hush of time folding softly around you. You move closer to a low table set beneath a narrow window, where thin slivers of moonlight spill gently through the glass, painting silver lines across scattered parchments and an open book bound in cracked leather. The pages hold delicate script, looping and elegant, written by a hand that moved with patient care and quiet devotion. Your fingers brush lightly over the text, the paper fragile and cool, and though the words are faded, they speak in soft echos poems of longing, prayers for protection, and letters never sent but held close like secrets whispered in the dark. The silence here is thick but tender, as if the room itself is breathing, waiting for your presence to awaken its stories. The temperature shifts gently as a faint breeze stirs the curtains, carrying with it the scent of rain and moss from the gardens beyond the stone walls. The coolness brushes against your skin, a delicate contrast to the candlelight's warm embrace, and you close your eyes, letting the sensations blend like colors on a painter's palette. The softness of the flame's glow mingles with the faint rustle of parchment and the whispered sighs of the night, creating a melody that threads through your thoughts like a lullaby remembered from long ago. Each breath you take is slow and full, carrying you deeper into this quiet world, where shadows hold no threat, only gentle company. Your gaze drifts upward to the ceiling, where wooden beams arch overhead, their rough-hewn surfaces carved with faint patterns worn nearly smooth by time's patient hand. The wood smells faintly of pine and smoke, grounding you in the tangible present, even as your mind floats amid memories woven into the room's very fabric. You imagine those who once kindled these candles, the soft murmur of voices shared in hushed conversation, the steady rhythm of hands crafting letters or tracing maps, the tender moments of solitude bathed in golden light. The room holds all these echoes, not as ghosts, but as quiet blessings carried on the breath of the still air. As you settle onto a cushioned window seat, the worn velvet cool beneath your fingertips, you watch the flames flicker and sway, their gentle dance reflecting the quiet pulse of your own thoughts. The night deepens beyond the glass, stars scattered like whispers across the dark velvet sky, and the room's warmth cocoons you like a soft shawl. You let your eyes close slowly, allowing the stories held in this chamber to wrap around you like a familiar melody. Each flicker of flame, a heartbeat marking the passage of time in this hidden corner of the noble hall. In this moment, the secret room becomes a sanctuary, not just of stone and thread, but of feeling and memory, a place where the past breathes softly beside the present. The candles burn steadily, their light steady and sure, guiding you gently through the quiet night, will always find a way to glow again. You step slowly into the chamber beyond the heavy tapestry, where the air is thick with the gentle weight of time, as if the room itself breathes softly beneath the layers of shadow and light. The walls are cloaked in deep velvet drapes, their folds rich and heavy, brushing against your fingertips with a coolness that whispers secrets of centuries past. The fabric carries a faint scent, sweet and musky, a mingling of old roses and candle smoke that clings delicately to the air, wrapping around you like a familiar, unseen shawl. Beneath your feet, the floor is softened by thick, hand-woven rugs, their threads muted in color but dense with the softness of wool worn smooth by long years of quiet passage. As your eyes adjust to the low light, you become aware of the delicate shimmer cast by a single silver candelabrum resting on a polished wooden table. The The flames flicker like gentle heartbeats, their glow pooling in small circles that mingle with the shadowy folds of the velvet, creating a dance of light and dark that moves in a slow, hypnotic rhythm. The warmth of the candlelight brushes your skin softly, a tender caress that contrasts with the coolness of the air, which smells faintly of lavender and ancient parchment. You breathe deeply, feeling the cool velvet and warm light mingle around you, weaving a quiet comfort that soothes the edges of your mind. Drawn forward, your hands trail along the edge of the table, the polished wood cool and smooth beneath your touch, its surface worn slightly uneven by countless hours of use. Scattered across the table lie small objects, an old locket tarnished with age, a silver comb with intricate filigree, and a folded letter whose delicate script is almost faded beyond recognition. Each item seems suspended in a moment lost to time, waiting quietly for you to acknowledge their stories. You lift the letter carefully, feeling the delicate crinkle of the paper, its texture thin yet resilient, as if holding within it the breath of whispered confessions and soft promises once spoken in secret. The room hums with a subtle stillness, the kind that invites your thoughts to drift slowly, unhurried by the rush of the outside world. The air carries a faint trace of beeswax mingled with the earthy richness of wet stone, scents that anchor you gently to this hidden place where the past and present blend seamlessly. You imagine the hands that once held these objects, the gentle touch that opened the locket, the careful fingers that combed hair by candlelight, the tender breath that wrote words meant only for one's own heart. The velvet shadows seem to hold these memories, cradling them like fragile blooms in the quiet garden of time. Settling into a cushioned chair by the window, you allow the soft glow of candlelight to wash over your face, warming your skin like a soft sigh. Outside, the night deepens into a velvet sky studded with faint stars, their light distant yet steady, a gentle reminder of worlds beyond this quiet chamber. You close your eyes briefly, feeling the cool velvet drapes brush against your cheek as a subtle breeze stirs, carrying with it the faintest scent of blooming jasmine from the gardens beyond. The coolness mingles with the candle's warmth, wrapping you in a tender embrace that feels both protective and ephemeral. In this suspended moment, the room becomes a sanctuary of gentle recollection, a place where you can linger in the softness of shadow and light, touching the edges of stories that live quietly just beyond reach. The velvet whispers of the past brush against your skin, their softness a balm to restless thoughts and wandering hearts. Each flicker of flame, each scent woven into the air, is a quiet invitation to remember, to feel, to become part of the tapestry of time held carefully within these walls. As you rise to leave, your fingers linger once more on the velvet drapes, their texture a lingering touch against your skin. A final, silent farewell to the secret chamber. The heavy fabric falls softly back into place, the candlelight dims gently, and the room settles once more into its quiet breath, waiting patiently for the next visitor to come and listen to its soft, enduring song. You find yourself drawn toward a narrow door, almost hidden behind the heavy folds of the tapestry, its surface worn smooth from years of quiet hands brushing against it. As you step inside, the air shifts gently, carrying a subtle warmth tinged with the faint scent of sandalwood and aged cedar. The room beyond is small, but filled with a presence that feels alive and familiar. as if it has been waiting patiently through countless nights for a visitor who listens, not just with ears, but with heart and memory. Soft light spills from a small, stained glass window, casting delicate patterns of amber and rose across the polished wooden floor, shimmering like gentle waves upon the surface of a still pond. The faintest sound stirs the air, a murmur of music, barely audible, yet unmistakably there, a delicate, slow melody woven from the breath of old strings and whispered notes. You follow it instinctively, each step a quiet echo on the floorboards, your senses opening fully to the room's tender secret. The warmth deepens around you, like the embrace of a soft, worn shawl, and the scent of honey and lavender lingers in the shadows, mingling with the faint musk of velvet curtains drawn partially aside to reveal shelves lined with well-loved instruments. A lute, its wood polished to a warm glow, rests quietly in the corner, alongside a delicate flute and a small harp whose silver strings catch the light and shimmer, faintly as if touched by invisible fingers. You move closer, your hand trailing lightly over the smooth surface of the lute's body, cool yet alive beneath your touch, the grain of the wood telling stories of countless melodies played in quiet hours by candlelight. The soft murmur of music seems to pulse with your own breath, slow and steady, a gentle tide pulling you deeper into the room's embrace. You imagine the hands that coaxed those notes from strings long ago, the fingers trembling with both hope and tenderness, the breath held softly before a note was released into the stillness. The air is thick with the memory of those moments, delicate and fragile, yet alive as if the music itself had never truly faded. Seated on a small cushioned stool, you close your eyes and let the quiet melody wash over you like a slow river of light. The notes ripple through the air, warm and comforting, wrapping around you with the softness of velvet and the gentle weight of forgotten dreams. The room feels suspended in time, its walls breathing quietly with the ebb and flow of sound and silence, as if holding its breath so the music can live undisturbed. The faint flicker of candlelight casts dancing shadows that play like gentle waves across the walls, and you breathe in the mingled scents of beeswax and worn leather, scents that seem to cradle the music within them. Outside, the evening deepens, the sky turning a dusky shade of indigo, and the world beyond the window grows quiet and still. Here, in this secret chamber, the music lingers like a soft memory, a lullaby woven from threads of light and shadow, scent and silence. You feel yourself drifting gently on its current, carried by notes that seem to touch the edges of your soul, delicate as a whispered wish. The warmth of the room, the scent of the wood and honey, and the gentle murmur of the melody blend into a quiet harmony that settles deep within, a balm for weary thoughts and restless hearts. As the music fades slowly into silence, you open your eyes to find the room bathed in the soft glow of twilight, the stained glass window shimmering with hues that seem to hold the last light of day. Your fingers rest lightly on the lute, and for a moment you feel the pulse of those long-ago songs beneath your touch, a tender connection across time that reminds you that even the quietest melodies never truly disappear. They live on in the spaces between, waiting to be heard again. Rising slowly, you take a final breath of the room's warm, scented air, letting the soft weight of its music settle into your heart. The door closes behind you with a gentle sigh, and you step once more into the noble hall's quiet embrace, carrying with you the soft murmur of forgotten musica, secret song to guide your dreams through the stillness of night. You step quietly through the narrow door tucked behind the tapestry, and the air changes subtly, cooler now, with the crisp scent of parchment and aged ink weaving itself around you like a gentle breath from the past. The room before you is small, but filled to the brim with a kind of stillness that holds stories carefully folded within the very walls. Maps, yellowed and fragile, are spread across wide wooden tables, their edges curling softly with time, like the petals of autumn leaves waiting to fall. The soft, flickering light from a single brass lantern casts a warm amber glow over the room, its light rippling gently over the maps and the delicate lines that trace forgotten rivers and mountains that rise like silent sentinels across faded continents. Your fingertips brush lightly over a map that feels almost alive beneath your touch. The delicate texture of old paper rough, yet somehow yielding, whispering secrets in the soft crinkle it makes under your skin. The ink lines, though faded, still hold the quiet authority of cartographers long gone, their careful hands tracing borders and landmarks no longer marked on any modern chart. You inhale deeply, the scent of dust and leather mingling with the subtle trace of cedarwood, and feel yourself pulled deeper into the mysteries that lie dormant here, waiting to be uncovered once more. Around you, the silence is profound, but not empty. It hums with the weight of journeys taken and paths forgotten, as if the very walls could speak the names of distant lands and the quiet footsteps of explorers who once dreamed beneath the light of flickering candles. You imagine the soft scratching of quills over parchment, the gentle rustle of papers turned slowly in hands filled with hope and wonder. The room breathes these memories softly, like a slow tide rising and falling with the passing of countless nights. You find a small stool by the table and settle into its worn seat, feeling the smoothness of the wood beneath you, polished over time by patient hands. The maps spread before you invite your gaze to wander, to trace the curves of rivers that shimmer faintly under the lantern's glow, to follow the jagged lines of mountain ranges that rise and fall like silent waves. Each mark is a story, each symbol a promise of places that live only in the quiet corners of memory and imagination. The room seems to hold its breath with you, a sacred space where time folds gently and dreams of far-off places rest softly beneath the lantern's light. A faint breeze stirs, carrying with it the distant scent of rain and moss, slipping through a slightly ajar window high above, and the coolness brushes your cheek like a whispered invitation to wander further in thought and feeling. You close your eyes for a moment, allowing the textures and scents to envelop you. The soft rustle of parchment echoing like the gentle murmur of a forgotten stream. The warmth of the lantern contrasts tenderly with the chill of the night air, weaving a delicate balance that cradles you gently in this hidden world. The maps beckon quietly, their faded lines telling of journeys not yet taken and horizons unseen. You imagine tracing your fingers along those old trails, feeling the earth beneath your feet as you step softly through imagined forests and across silent plains. The room holds these dreams like fragile glass, catching the light and reflecting stories that shimmer just beyond reach, waiting patiently for another hand to discover them. Rising slowly, you press your palm once more against the cool wood of the table, feeling the steady pulse of history beneath your touch. The lantern flickers softly, and you carry its gentle glow with you as you slip back through the door and into the quiet corridors of the noble hall. The whisper of ancient maps folded carefully within your heart, a soft guide through the stillness of night. You cross the threshold into a room cloaked in soft shadows, where the air holds the faintest warmth, like the lingering embrace of a summer evening just before dusk slips fully into night. The walls are lined with ancient stone, cool to the touch but softened by time, and the floor beneath your feet is a mosaic of worn tiles, their colors muted under the gentle flicker of a single lantern swinging slowly from a wrought iron hook. Its flame casts a steady, golden glow that pools in quiet circles on the floor and climbs the walls, wrapping the space in a tender light that seems to breathe with you, slow, steady, and unhurried. As you move deeper inside, the faint scent of burning oil mingles with the subtle fragrance of sandalwood, and a whisper of smoke that curls lazily towards the low ceiling. The lantern's light catches the delicate glint of scattered brass trinkets and the polished handles of tools resting quietly on a wooden shelf, each object resting as if waiting patiently for hands long gone. Your fingers brush lightly over the cool metal of a small key, its surface smooth and worn, carrying the quiet history of locks it once opened, secrets it once guarded. The texture of the key beneath your skin is grounding, a small heartbeat of the past that draws you further into the stillness of this hidden chamber. The room holds a hushed reverence, where silence is not absence but presence, a gentle companion that cradles the soft memories embedded in stone and shadow. You take a slow breath, feeling the coolness of the evening air mingle with the warmth of the lantern, and your senses open fully to the tactile richness around you. The rough grain of the wooden shelf, the faint creak of old hinges somewhere nearby, and the soft rustle of fabric as the tapestry sways gently in a distant draft, all weave together into a quiet symphony of subtle life. Your gaze falls upon a narrow table beneath a small, shuttered window where a folded piece of cloth lies, its texture soft yet heavy, like velvet kissed by age. As you lift the fabric, a faint, sweet scent rises, a mingling of faded rose petals and worn leather, delicate and fleeting. Beneath the cloth rests a small journal, its cover cracked and supple, the pages inside yellowed and edged with tiny stains that speak of years spent in careful use. You open the journal slowly, the soft rustle of pages filling the room like a whispered breath, and the delicate script within seems to shimmer in the lantern's light, words flowing in gentle loops and curves that feel like the slow dance of a secret song. You trace the inked letters with your finger, feeling the slight indentation beneath the surface of the page, as though the words themselves carry a heartbeat. The journal speaks softly of days bathed in golden light, of quiet moments stolen beneath these very walls, of dreams whispered into the night like tender prayers. The room wraps around you, warm and protective, and the scents of old paper and sandalwood linger like a memory brushing softly against your skin. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the words settle deep within, their cadence weaving a lullaby that hums just beneath your breath. The lantern swings ever so slightly, its flame steady yet alive, casting a slow-moving dance of shadows that stretch and contract across the stone. The silence feels like a gentle sea, rocking you softly in its ebb and flow, and you let your thoughts drift like a leaf caught on a lazy current. The weight of the world outside slips away, replaced by this quiet sanctuary where light and shadow converse in whispers, and time slows to the pace of your breath. As you rise to leave, your hand lingers on the small journal's cover, a soft farewell to the stories held within. The lantern's glow follows you to the door, a final beacon in the quiet dark. And as you step back into the noble hall's gentle embrace, the secrets of this room settle softly into your heart, a quiet light to guide you through the gentle unfolding of night. You step once again through the soft veil of the tapestry and into the secret room's hush, where time seems to have folded gently in on itself, settling like a delicate dust upon every surface. The air here is cool but not cold, carrying a faint whisper of cedar and the subtle trace of old parchment, as if the very walls are infused with the breath of stories long forgotten. Your feet find the worn stones beneath their surfaces, smooth and uneven, each step releasing a quiet echo that blends seamlessly with the gentle rhythm of the room's stillness. The light here is muted, filtered softly through a narrow window high above, where streaks of silver moonlight fall like gentle fingers, tracing the edges of shadow. In the center of the chamber stands an ancient clock, its wooden case carved with delicate vines and blossoms, the craftsmanship worn but still proud against the passage of years. You approach it slowly, your hand hovering just above the surface, feeling the faint hum of time held captive within. The clock's face is muted, the hands frozen in a tender pause, as if caught in a moment meant never to move forward, but to linger softly like a sigh. The scent of beeswax polish lingers faintly, a warm contrast to the coolness of the stone, inviting you to lean closer and listen to the quiet heartbeat that still pulses beneath the stillness. Around you, the room holds other relics, small trinkets scattered on a narrow shelf, each telling its own silent tale. A delicate porcelain cup, its glaze cracked yet shimmering faintly, rests beside a bundle of dried lavender tied with faded ribbon. The fragrance rises in soft waves, calming and sweet, mingling with the faint musk of worn leather and dust. You pick up the cup gently, feeling its cool surface warm slowly beneath your palm, and you imagine the hands that once cradled it, the quiet mornings filled with whispered thoughts, the slow sipping of tea beneath the soft glow of candlelight. The memories seem to drift here, tangible yet elusive, like the last breath of a dream fading as dawn breaks. You take a slow, deep breath, the cool air filling your lungs and mingling with the warmth that pools softly in your chest. The room invites you to pause, to rest in this gentle moment between past and present, where the pulse of hidden time beats steady and true. The quiet tick of the clock, though unseen, seems to resonate within you, a tender reminder that some moments are meant to be held close, treasured not for their urgency, but for their stillness. You close your eyes briefly, letting the cool stone and warm wax mingle in the silent space between your thoughts, allowing the gentle rhythm of the room to carry you softly onward. Soft light flickers as a candle's flame dances quietly on a nearby sconce, casting shadows that sway like gentle waves across the carved wood and stone. The scent of melted wax and lavender drifts gently on the air, soothing and familiar, and you feel a quiet peace settle over you like a well-worn blanket. Each breath is slow and full, the room's softness wrapping around you, cradling you in its quiet embrace. It is a place not just of hidden things, but of held moments fleeting and fragile, yet enduring in their silent grace. As you rise to leave, your fingers brush lightly against the carved surface of the clock, feeling the worn grooves and delicate vines etched by hands long since gone. The room hums quietly, its secrets safe for now, resting gently beneath the watchful eyes of the moonlight. You step back through the tapestry's folds, carrying with you the quiet pulse of hidden time, a soft heartbeat to guide you through the stillness of night and the gentle unfolding of dreams. You step quietly past the tapestry once more, feeling the soft weight of fabric brushing against your fingertips as you enter the secret room that seems suspended in time. The air here is cooler, touched by the faint scent of aged oak and a whisper of lavender, delicate and calming as it drifts slowly through the stillness. The floor beneath your feet is cool stone, worn smooth by countless quiet footsteps, yet it holds a softness in its steadiness, grounding you gently in this hidden sanctuary. Light filters in through a narrow arched window high above, casting thin, pale beams that mingle with the soft glow of a solitary candle flickering on a small wooden table. The flame dances slowly, its warm golden hues wrapping the room in a tender embrace that feels like a lullaby whispered on a summer night. Before you lies a collection of delicate objects, each resting quietly as if breathing softly with the room itself. A finely woven basket, its fibers slightly frayed with age, holds dried herbs, sage, thyme, and rosemary, each releasing a subtle, earthy aroma that mingles with the sweeter notes of the candle's beeswax. Your fingers brush over the basket's rim, rough and textured, as the scent deepens, wrapping you in a calming embrace that seems to carry the wisdom of ancient gardens, tended in quiet devotion. Nearby, a small ceramic jar with a faded floral pattern sits silently, its cool surface smooth beneath your touch, hinting at the careful hands that once filled it with healing potions or fragrant oils. The room holds these treasures like gentle memories, soft and tender, inviting you to linger in their presence and feel the slow pulse of time woven through their quiet existence. You take a slow breath, the mingling scents of lavender, herbs, and wax filling your lungs with a soothing warmth that settles deep within your chest. The candle's flame flickers again, casting gentle shadows that stretch and sway across the stone walls, creating a quiet dance of light and dark that seems to echo the slow rhythm of your heartbeat. The coolness of the air brushes lightly against your skin, a tender contrast to the candle's glow, and you feel the room's hush settle over you like a soft, familiar blanket. Here, in this secret chamber, the world outside slips away, leaving only the gentle pulse of the moment, a fragile breath held softly between night and dawn. As you reach toward a folded piece of cloth resting on the table, your fingertips graze its velvet surface, rich and worn with the weight of time, the fabric cool yet yielding like the soft embrace of shadow itself. You unfold it slowly, revealing beneath a small, handwritten note, the ink faded, but still legible, quiet message written long ago, full of tender words and whispered hopes that seem to resonate across the years. The paper carries a faint scent of rosewater and old books, delicate and fleeting, and as you read the flowing script, you feel a gentle connection to the writer's heart, a soft bridge spanning the distance of time and memory. The room breathes around you, a sanctuary woven from light, scent, and shadow, where every detail invites you to slow down and savor the quiet stories that dwell within. The cool stone beneath your feet, the warm flicker of candlelight and the subtle fragrance of herbs and wax mingle in a delicate harmony that soothes the mind and cradles the spirit. You close your eyes for a moment, allowing the gentle symphony of sensations to wash over you, the whisper of forgotten voices and the tender pulse of memories long held close. In this hidden space, time unfolds like a slow, blooming flower, soft, luminous, and endlessly serene, your fingers lingering on the velvet's worn surface, as if to carry its quiet comfort with you. The candle's flame flickers gently in farewell, casting one last warm glow before settling into a steady, peaceful light. You step back through the tapestry's embrace, wonder of the noble's hall alive within your heart. You step softly through the tapestry once again, its heavy folds parting like a curtain, revealing a world folded away from the bustle beyond. The secret room welcomes you with a quiet breath of cool air, tempered by the lingering warmth of stone that has held centuries of whispered stories and hidden moments. Your footsteps fall lightly on the uneven flagstones, their surface worn smooth by hands and feet long vanished, while the faint scent of aged wood and a trace of cedar smoke curled gently in the stillness. The soft glow of a low-hung lantern bathes the space in a golden haze, its light trembling delicately as if the flame itself remembers the gentle touch of a distant breeze. In the corner, a narrow writing desk sits patiently beneath a small, latticed window where pale moonlight filters in, casting pale silver patterns that dance across the dark grains of polished oak. The surface of the desk is scattered with parchments, some blank, waiting quietly to receive the soft scratch of a quill. Others worn with faded script, ink blotted and edges curled, each a fragile whisper of days long past. You lean forward, feeling the coolness of the wood beneath your fingertips, smooth yet alive with texture, as if the desk itself holds the slow heartbeat of all the words it has borne. A faint smell of ink mingles with the soft musk of beeswax sealing wax, hinting at letters once sealed with care and secrets shared only in the hush of twilight. Your gaze lingers on a delicate quill resting beside an inkpot, its feather curved gently as if poised mid-flight. The quill's softness brushes your palm as you pick it up, its fragile lightness a tender contrast to the weight of history cradled in this quiet corner. You imagine the slow, deliberate motions of the hand that traced thoughts onto parchment, the soft dip of the nib into ink, the scratch of words forming like gentle ripples on a still lake. Each letter, each curve of script holds the sigh of a moment, captured hope, longing, or a secret kept close beneath the hush of night. Around you, the silence feels alive, filled with the faint creaks of old wood settling, the distant murmur of the house breathing softly as the night deepens. The cool stone walls hold steady, offering a steadfast shelter, while the flickering lantern light casts shadows that curl and stretch like quiet memories moving just beyond the edge of sight. You breathe in slowly, the mingled scents of wood, ink, and wax filling your lungs, grounding you gently in the delicate space between now and then, where moments linger like petals falling in slow motion. You settle onto a worn stool, its surface creaking softly beneath you, and let your fingers trail over the parchment before you, feeling the slight roughness of the fibers, the gentle give of paper made by hand long ago. The light flickers, a soft heartbeat in the dimness, and you close your eyes for a moment, letting the stillness enfold you like a well-loved cloak. The world outside slips away the clamor, the haste leaving only the tender pulse of quiet time here, where words are born from shadows and light, from breath and silence intertwined. Opening your eyes, you reach slowly for a piece of parchment, the edges curling slightly as you lift it toward the lantern's glow. The faint scent of lavender oil rises, mingling with the warm wax and the deep, rich earthiness of old wood, a fragrance that feels both ancient and alive. You imagine the hand that once held this paper, the soft brush of fingertips, the careful thought laid down in ink. A letter folded and sent, a secret kept, or a hope offered into the night. The room holds these whispers with tenderness, each one a quiet song, caught between light and shadow, waiting to be heard anew. Rising gently, you set the quill down and brush your fingers once more over the smooth wood of the desk, feeling the slow, steady pulse of history beneath your touch. The lantern's flame flickers one last time before settling into a calm, steady glow, and you step back through the tapestry's folds, carrying with you the soft echo of whispered words and the gentle rhythm of this secret room, a quiet place where time slows to a tender breath, and dreams are penned beneath the watchful gaze of the stars. You notice the dust first, drifting lazily in the golden afternoon light that filters through a narrow window at the far end of the hall, where time feels softened and stretched like a slow sigh. The particles float and twirl in the air, catching the light like tiny fragments of forgotten stars, and as you stand still, your breath quiets, blending with the hush of the ancient stone. It is in this quietness that you become aware of something unusual, in absence of stillness beneath your feet, as though the very dust that settled here held a secret, a memory waiting patiently to be uncovered. Your eyes follow a faint trace, a delicate disturbance in the fine layer covering the floorboards, as if someone had traced a wandering path long ago and left behind a ghost of footsteps that time could not fully erase. Drawn by an unspoken invitation, you step softly, each movement causing a gentle crunch that blends with the soft sigh of the hall, carrying with it a scent both faint and stirring, something between old parchment, melted beeswax, and the faint sweetness of crushed violets. The air feels heavier here, weighted with moments no one else remembers. A fragrance that touches the edges of your senses and pulls you deeper into the past. At the end of the corridor, where shadows gather and the light fades to a tender amber, you find an alcove, once perhaps designed to hold a statue or a cherished relic, now empty and waiting beneath the thick dust that blankets its floor like a velvet cloak. Leaning forward, your fingertips brush against the cold stone wall, tracing a faint seam hidden beneath the dust's embrace, barely perceptible to any but the most attentive. The stone shifts subtly under your touch, yielding to reveal a hidden door, its surface etched with patterns worn smooth by time and countless forgotten hands. Without hesitation, you press gently, and the stone slides open to reveal a small chamber bathed in soft, golden light that seems to flow from nowhere and everywhere all at once. The stillness here is different, not the absence of sound, but a presence and echo of lives lived and voices whispered, folded into the very fabric of the room. Inside, a wooden table stands at the center, its surface polished by years of careful hands, and scattered upon it lie countless envelopes, each sealed with wax that has softened with age but not lost its warmth. The weight of countless stories presses gently against your skin, and though you have never seen this place before, a deep recognition blooms in your chest, as if the room itself had been waiting for you to arrive. You reach out to lift one of the letters, feeling the subtle give of the paper beneath your fingers, the faint warmth of the seal that seems to pulse softly like a heartbeat. The script is elegant and flowing, the ink faded but still vibrant with meaning. And as you begin to read, the words rearrange themselves in your mind until they become not just ink on paper, but a living thread weaving through your soul. The letters speak in quiet confessions, promises, and farewells, each one a fragment of a life once known, a name spoken softly across the distance of time. They are not addressed to you, and yet with each word you feel a deepening connection to those who penned them, as though their memories had somehow found their way to you, seeking solace and remembrance. As you read, your thoughts drift to the many lives these notes represent: a gardener who hid a locket beneath the blossoming apple tree, a maiden who danced alone in a candlelit tower room, an old scholar who wept for a world slipping quietly away. You feel their presence here, in the dust that refuses to settle, in the faint traces of scent and shadow that linger beneath the surface of the stone. Hours pass unnoticed as you sit among the letters, the glow from the unseen source bathing you in a gentle golden warmth. One letter, lying open near the edge of the table, catches your eye, its seal broken and its message addressed simply to the one who remembers. You hesitate before reaching for it, a quiet trembling of recognition stirring in your heart. The handwriting is unmistakably your own, though you do not recall ever writing these words. As you read, the letter unfolds like a soft prayer, a tender reminder of why you have come to this forgotten place, not to uncover secrets, but to hold memories safe when others forget. The letter speaks of remembrance as a sacred duty, a quiet act of love that transcends time and loss. It tells you that the dust beneath the floorboards remembers every name, every whisper, every tear shed in silence, and that by remembering, you keep the stories alive, breathing gently into the night, so that they may never be lost. You feel the truth of this deep within your ribs, the steady rhythm of belonging weaving through your veins. The room is no longer just a room, it has become a sanctuary of echoes, a place where memory lingers like a soft song carried on the wind. When you finally rise, the letters rest quietly on the table, their stories safe within the warm embrace of this hidden chamber. The door closes behind you with a gentle sigh, the seam in the stone disappearing as though it had never been. The dust in the hallway settles once more, still and silent, but you carry with you the weight of names and moments that refuse to fade. As you walk away, your steps feel lighter, touched by the knowing that memory is never truly lost, only waiting patiently to be found again. That night, as you lie beneath a sky heavy with stars, you feel the dust settling softly around you, not as a burden, but as a tender presence, a reminder that the past lives on quietly within the present. And in the silence before sleep, a whisper brushes against your cheek, a name carried on the breath of the night, a promise that the secret room behind the tapestry will always remember those who remember in return. You step once more into the shadowed corridor, where the stone arches curve like the ribs of some ancient beast, and the faint echo of your footsteps weaves a soft rhythm beneath the quiet breath of the hall. The air here is cooler, tinged with the faint, almost imperceptible scent of moss and old wood, carrying with it the gentle weight of forgotten time. As you move slowly forward, your fingers brush against the rough, uneven surface of the wall, cool, slightly damp, yet somehow alive beneath your touch. As if the stone itself were holding a secret it yearned to share in whispers meant only for those who truly listened. You pause, leaning in closer, and the silence thickens, wrapping around you like a delicate veil, inviting you to remember. The walls seem to hum softly, a vibration so faint you close your eyes and breathe deeply, feeling the chill of the stone mingle with the warmth of your breath. The contrast, sharp yet soothing, grounding you in this ancient place that feels both distant and intimately known. As you open your eyes, the dim light falling through narrow slits, revealing faint etchings carved into the rock, names and symbols worn smooth by centuries of quiet devotion. Little marks left by hands, long vanished, but not forgotten. You trace these carvings gently with your fingertips, the texture uneven, some letters sharp and clear, others blurred, like memories fading at the edge of consciousness. The air carries a subtle fragrance of dried herbs and wax, a faint reminder of candles once burned here, prayers murmured into the darkness. It feels as though the walls themselves hold the echoes of those voices, reverberating softly in the stillness, their whispers folded into the very grain of the stone. You imagine those who passed this way before you, noble women and quiet servants, scholars and dreamers, all leaving traces of themselves, small and precious, in the shelter of these whispering walls. As you follow the corridor's gentle curve, the sensation deepens, and the space seems to pulse with a quiet life of its own. The stones hum in harmony with the steady beat of your heart, and you become aware of a soft breeze, though no door or window stirs. The breath of the hall moves through you, cool and fragrant, like the first hint of dawn after a long night, carrying the scent of rain-damp earth and freshly turned soil. You inhale deeply, letting the air fill your lungs and soothe your thoughts, as if the walls are breathing with you, sharing a secret language of quiet comfort and ancient belonging. Further along, a narrow alcove appears, bathed in a pale silver glow that seems to seep from the very stone. You step inside and find a small wooden bench, worn smooth by countless years of waiting. The surface is cool beneath your fingertips, and as you settle onto it, the weight of the world lifts slightly, replaced by a gentle stillness that feels like coming home. You close your eyes once more, allowing the quiet whispers of the walls to settle around you like a lullaby, their voices soft and indistinct, more felt than heard, like the fading notes of a song you half remember. In that stillness, images drift through your mind, fragments of moments you never lived but somehow know. A hand reaching out in the moonlight, a smile exchanged beneath flickering candle flames, the warmth of a hearth long cold. These echoes linger in the cool air, wrapped in the scent of lavender and aged parchment, weaving a tapestry of memory that spans centuries. You realize that the walls are not simply stone, but keepers of all the soft stories that the noble hall has held in its embrace. Stories of joy and sorrow, quiet courage and whispered dreams. The gentle hum of the stone grows, and you sense that the walls remember you as much as you remember them. Your presence here becomes a thread in the endless weave of time, a quiet offering to the place where past and present meet. The breeze carries a faint touch against your cheek, like a whispered blessing and you open your eyes to see the light shifting, the glow deepening just enough to reveal a hidden inscription carved delicately along the arch above the bench. The letters are worn but clear, a simple phrase. Here, the forgotten speaks softly. You breathe in the words, letting them settle deep inside you. As the corridor fades gently around the edges of your vision, the whispering walls hold their secrets with tenderness, inviting you to listen, to remember, to be part of their quiet song. Rising from the bench, you run your fingers once more along the smooth stone and step back into the corridor's embrace, carrying with you the hush of those ancient voices, their soft echoes a steady comfort beneath the weight of night. As you walk away, the air shifts subtly, and the scent of moss and candle wax lingers still, a reminder that the past is never truly silent, only waiting to be heard. The walls stand patient and enduring, keepers of memory and gentle whispers, ready to cradle all who come seeking the secret rooms hidden beyond the tapestry's fold. You find yourself stepping quietly through a hidden door, one that you had not noticed before despite your many wanderings. The air shifts immediately, warmer here, touched with the scent of earth and something tenderly sweet like the soft breath of jasmine in early morning. Your fingers brush against the rough bark of a gnarled tree trunk, and the texture is alive beneath your skin, both smooth and rugged, cool from shade, but humming faintly with the life it holds within. Light spills gently across the garden, filtered through a canopy of leaves, so green and dense it feels as though the sun itself is breathing softly through them. Dappled patterns, shifting with the whisper of a breeze you cannot hear. As you walk further, the ground beneath your feet changes, softening from cold stone to a bed of moss that cushions your steps like a gentle sigh. The air tastes faintly of rain and rich soil, mingled with the subtle musk of wildflowers that bloom quietly in hidden corners. You notice petals so delicate they seem woven from silk, their colors muted but radiant blush pinks, pale lavenders, and cream white sage, one catching the light like a secret kept close to the heart. Somewhere nearby, the distant trill of a nightingale threads through the silence, a song carried on the breath of the wind, wrapping around you in a lullaby older than memory. You pause beside a small, bubbling fountain carved from stone that has softened and crumbled at the edges, moss spilling over its lip like emerald tears. The water is clear and cool, running in a steady whisper that soothes the quiet ache lingering in your chest. You cup your hands and drink, tasting the faint mineral temps that speaks of springs long forgotten beneath the earth. The chill spreads slowly, grounding you in this moment as your gaze drifts upward to where ivy clings to the walls of the noble hall, its leaves glistening with dew, shimmering faintly in the soft light. The garden feels suspended between worlds, a place caught between past and present, where time slows and folds gently around you. You breathe in deeply, the scent of wet stone and jasmine filling your lungs, and with each exhale, you feel the weight of the hall's history settling around you like a shawl, comforting and familiar, yet tinged with the quiet sorrow of things lost and waiting. Somewhere beneath the soil, roots entwine like whispered secrets, holding memories close, while overhead, leaves murmur stories in a language you almost understand but cannot fully grasp. Your fingers trail along a weathered stone bench, cool and smooth beneath your touch, where the faintest scratchings have been carved into its surface, intertwined, dates long worn away, and delicate symbols that speak of promises made and forgotten. You sit and close your eyes, allowing the soft rustle of leaves and the gentle gurgle of the fountain to weave a tapestry of sound that cradles you like a tender dream. The air shifts again, warmer now, with the faintest hint of vanilla and beeswax, a fragrance that reminds you of candlelit rooms and whispered conversations held behind closed doors. In the quietness, images drift through your mind like drifting petals soft, moments of laughter shared beneath this very sky, hands brushing, as if by chance, the warmth of a smile exchanged in silence, the gentle touch of a hand tracing the outline of a face that time has blurred but not erased. The garden remembers these moments, holding them safe in the folds of moss and the shadows beneath the trees, sheltering them from the world like fragile treasures wrapped in the hush of twilight. You rise slowly and wander toward a narrow path lined with fragrant herbstein, rosemary, and sage that release their earthy scents beneath your fingertips. Each leaf feels alive, cool and slightly rough, and as you brush past them, the air fills with the mingled perfume of earth and rain. The path curves gently, leading you to a small wooden gate, its paint faded and chipped, but still standing steadfast like a sentinel between the garden and the rest of the world. You push it open and step through, feeling the cool rush of air as the garden fades behind you, its scents and sounds lingering softly in your senses like a half-remembered lullaby. Back in the hall, the tapestry's folds fluttered gently as if breathing, the warmth of the garden still wrapped around you, a secret kept close to your skin. You pause for a moment, resting your hand on the fabric, feeling the weave beneath your palm rough, yet comforting, like a thread that connects you to all the forgotten places and memories that lie hidden just beyond the surface. The light in the corridor is dim now, a soft amber glow spilling from sconces along the wall, and as you walk onward, the quiet of the noble hall embraces you once more, carrying the gentle hum of the garden's memory deep into the stillness of the night. You enter the library with a slow, deliberate step, the heavy oak door closing behind you with a muted thud that seems to absorb itself into the vast silence surrounding you. The air inside is thick with the comforting scent of aged paper, worn leather, and a faint trace of beeswax lingering from candles long since burned low. The room is vast and hushed, lined from floor to ceiling with countless shelves bowed beneath the weight of books, whose spines hold the wisdom of generations folded quietly into their pages. A faint glow filters softly through tall, arched windows, casting pools of warm, amber light that dance gently with the slow sway of dust motes caught in the afternoon's stillness. Your fingertips brush across the smooth, cool surface of a heavy wooden table, its grain worn smooth from years of use, and you feel the faint imprint of hands that have come before you, hands that turned pages, traced letters, and sought comfort in stories whispered through time. The texture of the wood beneath your palm is grounding, alive with memories like the soft pulse of a heartbeat just beneath the surface. The quiet breath of the library seems to settle around you, a slow exhale mingling with the scent of vanilla and old parchment, inviting you to lose yourself in its gentle embrace. As you move deeper into the room, your footsteps softened by a thick, richly woven rug, the air cools slightly, carrying the faint chill of stone beneath the floorboards and the subtle freshness of lavender tucked between the shelves. You reach out and touch the spine of a book, its cover cracked and supple, the leather worn thin by the passage of time. The letters, embossed in faded gold, seem to shimmer faintly beneath your touch, and you imagine the stories held within tales of distant lands, whispered secrets, and quiet dreams waiting patiently to be awakened. You find a low armchair nestled beside a window where the light pools like liquid honey, its fabric soft and inviting, worn gently from years of silent companionship. Settling into the chair, you draw a thin volume from the nearby shelf, its pages yellowed and delicate, the faint scent of ink mingling with the mustiness of age. The words seem to float before your eyes like a slow, flowing river, carrying you gently along without haste, as if the story itself were breathing beside you, a quiet presence in the stillness. Outside the window, the sky deepens to a soft twilight, hues of rose and lavender fading into the coming night. The warmth of the library wraps around you like a shawl, and as your eyes trace the gentle curves of the script, the world beyond the walls seems to soften and blur, folding into the quiet rhythm of the room. You breathe in the subtle scents, the wood smoke from distant hearths, the faint touch of jasmine carried on a whisper of windand. Feel the steady pulse of time slowing, each moment unfolding like a slow bloom beneath your skin. The stories here are not loud or brash. They do not demand attention, but offer themselves like a gentle hand resting on your shoulder, a steady presence in the quiet dark. You think of the hands that once held these pages, the eyes that traced each line by candlelight, the soft sighs of readers lost in dreams and memories. The library remembers them, all the forgotten voices woven into the grain of the shelves, the echoes of laughter and tears held quietly within the bindings. Closing the book softly, you rest it on your lap and let your gaze drift toward the far corner, where a small desk stands beneath a stained glass window, its colors muted now, but still catching the last light of day. The desk is scattered with parchment, quills, and inkpots, as if left in mid-thought, waiting patiently for the hand that will return. You reach out to touch the smooth surface, the faint ridges of carved initials beneath your fingers, a reminder of those who once poured their hearts into words, capturing moments too fragile for memory alone. Rising slowly, you take one last breath of the room's quiet breath, the mingling of paper and wax, wood and stone, light and shadow, feeling yourself a part of the library's long, gentle story. As you step back through the doorway, the heavy door closes softly behind you, and the hush of the noble hall enfolds you once more, carrying the tender weight of stories that will always wait patiently to be discovered, like the softest sigh in the quiet of night. The evening settles gently over the noble hall, and you find yourself once again standing before the tapestry that has been both guardian and veil to all the secret rooms you have come to know. The fabric hangs heavy, rich, with faded colors and soft folds, brushing lightly against your fingertips as you reach out to touch it one last time. The threads feel worn, yet alive beneath your skin, their textures whispering of countless hands that have come before yours, of moments both tender and solemn woven into the very cloth. Around you, the air cools with the promise of night, carrying a faint trace of lavender and old parchment, scents that mingle like a gentle lullaby, coaxing you to linger just a moment longer in this place where time itself seems to breathe slow and deep. You draw a quiet breath, the warmth of the hall fading softly against the chill that creeps in from outside, and your eyes follow the gentle play of candlelight flickering along the stone walls. The soft glow casts long, dancing shadows that waver like memories, fragile, fleeting, yet somehow eternal. It is here, in this delicate balance of light and shadow, that you feel the weight of all you have seen and felt during your secret journey behind the tapestry. He rooms, the whispers, the dust that remembers, the garden kissed by forgotten light, the library's quiet breath, each one lingers within you like a soft echo, a thread of memory stitched quietly into the fabric of your being. With careful steps, you move away from the tapestry and toward the hearth where embers glow with a slow, steady warmth, their gentle crackle, the only sound in the hushed room. The heat reaches out to meet you, wrapping around your shoulders like a well-worn shawl, and you allow yourself to settle beside it. The stones beneath your fingers are cool yet comforting, grounding you in the present even as your thoughts drift gently back to the rooms you have visited. You close your eyes and breathe deeply, letting the scents of smoke and wood mingle with the lingering notes of jasmine and moss, a fragrant reminder of the secret places now resting softly in your heart. As you sit there, the quiet around you becomes a kind of conversation, a gentle exchange between the past and present, between what was and what still is. You feel the soft pulse of the hall's memory beating beneath your fingertips, a slow rhythm that matches your own breath, steady and sure. The tapestry's stories, once hidden and silent, have found voice in your footsteps, in your touch, in the quiet space you have held for them. They are not lost, not forgotten, but alive, woven into the tender threads of your own story, carried with you like a whispered promise. Night deepens outside, folding the world into velvet darkness. Yet here within the noble hall, a subtle light remains, a flicker of hope, of remembrance, of gentle presence that will never fade. The air is still now, save for the faint sigh of the embers and the soft murmur of your own heartbeat, and you feel the weight of all things held lightly, like a feather resting on a breeze. The tapestry rustles softly, as if offering a farewell not of endings, but of quiet continuance, inviting you to return whenever you wish, to wander once more through secret rooms where memories sleep and dreams breathe. Rising slowly, you cast one last glance around the hall, savoring the warmth, the scent, the gentle glow that has become a part of you. Your fingers brush the tapestry's edge again, a final touch that feels both goodbye and greeting, a bridge between worlds seen and unseen. As you step back into the cool night beyond the heavy doors, the noble hall remains, patient, enduring, its secrets safe within the folds of time and shadow, waiting to welcome you home.